How is it going, folks? And a warm welcome back to Puck to Prem. We've got £800,000 in transfer budget, a first team squad of currently only 20 players, a few of which I'd still like to sell, and the League 2 season itself kicks off in a little over 3 weeks. Today's gonna be busy. I hope you guys are having a lovely Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel. You know the deal by now. It's a transfer special, part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Hopefully I'm going to sign some players today that don't get stolen away by other sides. Now, last episode, we did make 3 new additions to the team. Teddy Sharman Lowe joined us, the 23-year-old. I think he's going to be a good first-choice goalkeeper. The kind of player who, maybe if another goalkeeper came available, I might still be willing to sign. Max Voltman, now preliminarily in the starting 11 at centre attacking mid. In an ideal world, we find a better player to fit there today. And actually, of all the players we've signed, Darko Kiabi, for me, is the pick of the bunch. 22 years old, released by Leeds United, who only a few years ago signed him for £5 million. A lot of hype with this guy. Didn't really amount to anything at Leeds. He's going to get a second lease on life with us. As for sales, there was one headline sale, wasn't there? Fauna leaving the building for £1 million. Still a mad deal. There is currently one deal in progress. Ben Jackson, who we had on trial, is on the verge of hopefully signing for us. I say that because no one's made an offer for him yet. We're still waiting for his response. But as a depth centre-back option, I feel like he'd do the business. And whilst, you know what, I am feeling the pressure of the season starting in just over 3 weeks' time, I'm going to look at the season preview as a reason for positivity. We are predicted currently to be third with our current squad. The top 3 go up from League 2. Today's episode, today's season, I suppose is all going to be about trying to secure that. And to do that, I'd really like to pick up a new centre attacking mid and maybe a new striker. I like Overton, but I like Andy White more, and I feel like Andy White needs a partner in crime. Interesting to note, and I don't know if this was the case last episode, and I just didn't notice it as the episode went on, Bob Davis is now listed as our hot prospect at the club, which, when you consider all the prospects at the club, I feel like that's quite the label to attach to a man who, to be honest, has not really been on my radar. 17 years old, not developing well. That is simply because I've been training him to play at defensive mid. He's now learnt that position naturally. We should start to see some better development from him. There's a small part of me that kind of just wants to thrust him into the first team and make him play on off the bench, but he's just not quite good enough for the level we're now playing at. Anyway, to kick things off today, there's a couple of players like George Dowling who I need to get out from the club, so I'm going to offer him out. And elsewhere, in the under-21s, Joe McGlynn probably also shouldn't be here. We'll offer him out for an unspecified amount. Bit of interest in him. Would love someone to bid that 160k. Probably not going to get that much for him. Now, of course, last episode, towards the end of things, we stumbled across the treasure trove. There was players with contract status expired, sorted by world reputation. A couple of players in this list that we looked at that we couldn't afford. Maybe if they lower their demands, Alfie Gilchrist, I might be tempted to go back in for them. But I did spot a new name at the top of this list. Tyrese Francois, Australian international. He'd be a very, very good regista, wouldn't he? He'd be absolutely amazing. Bad news, lots of teams in A-League want to sign him. He was previously playing for Wigan, and the shock of absolutely no one, I can't afford him. I wasn't sure, I've never managed in A-League, kind of what the wages were that the teams offer. Presumably all these teams can offer more than me. Antoine Hackford here. I feel like I had him in a past Park to Prem save game. I don't know why, he's got a familiar face. He's actually an interesting player because he's really quick, okay physicals, but he has finishing composure and off the ball. He has the holy trinity of attacking stuff. Now, whether or not he's a big upgrade on Overton, I guess, is a bit of a question mark. When you look at things there, it's a tad underwhelming. I'm just curious how much he might ask for. We'll chat with his agent. Probably going to want over £2,000, but wants to offer competition for places. Can we get him cheaper? Part of me feels like for £2,000, he wouldn't be the worst transfer ever. But if I am looking to upgrade the striking department with a new starting striker, I don't think he's the man. Oliver Casey here at 25 years old actually looks like another really, really good player. Was previously, you can see here, playing for Blackpool. Last year actually played 37 games in League One. And the year before that. Oliver, how much do you want? Is it less than £3,500? I'm going to assume probably not. He's asked for £18,000 there. I've seen some mental demand That is by far the worst. Jack Curry here looks good. What's his agent saying? £3,800 to £5,000 a week. I don't need a left back. Brandon Cover here is a Jamaican international who was last at Leicester. He actually can play a load of positions. I love the versatility. I actually quite like him. He's the kind of player who doesn't look amazing, so maybe that means his wage demands might be more reasonable. He would want a minimum release clause. It's annoying. I don't want to give him £2,000. It's frustrating, right? Because I have the interested in transfer set to doubtful, and I could set this to maybe slightly interested to get rid of some of these time wasters. But every so often, these players just have reasonable wage demands, and I don't want to miss out on that one player who might be very, very good. Alex Matos here is on trial with Rochdale. 21 years old, was previously at Norwich, then moved on a free, you can see here, to Chelsea. Last year, was playing in League One. He's very, very good. I don't think I'd play him on the wing or as a striker, but as a depth defensive midfielder, he actually looks really quite good. Mr. Agent, how much? 1,900 to 2,500. Wants a non-promotion release clause and a minimum release clause. That's quite a list of release clauses, but I'm willing to negotiate their inclusion in any deal. Okay, I do like the look of this guy. I feel like as another defensive mid option, he could be really, really good for us. It's just those release clauses that I don't love. The non-promotion one, I'm almost willing to gamble on us getting promoted this year. It's the minimum release clause to any club that I kind of have an issue with, and the yearly and promotional wage rises. If I'm not mistaken, Gabby's on £3,500. I'm tempted to offer Alex Matos kind of a similar sum of money. 3-year deal. I want a contract extension after promotion of 3 years. How'd you like them apples? He loves them. I'll be honest, he's probably better than Gabby. As a defensive midfielder partnership, are they better than Hume as a collective? I love Hume, but he is a bit of a one-dimensional, super creative player, a bit of a one-trick pony. I mean, there's a world where I play him at centre attacking mid. I feel like someone in the comment section mentioned that ages ago, and I kind of looked and went, that could be a thing, and then I never thought the day would come. Oh, I wonder. Callum Hume, shadow striker, move Voltman out the team, Gabby alongside Matos. I'll tell you what, that'd be a crazy defensive midfielder partnership. Probably should also get a scout report on him, just in case there's any major issues. The good news is he's on trial at Rochdale. No one else has made an offer yet. Ronnie Stutter's another former Chelsea player. Looks like there was a load of players released by Chelsea. I'm going to deploy a tactic that I've not used in ages. Homegrown at status is at club Chelsea. Let's see who else Chelsea have released. This is actually a way that you can just look through players that have been released, by the way, if you've ever wondered. Just go through all the different big teams, search them manually like this. Now I get a better idea of players they've released who are actually interested in transfer to me. I'll be honest, these players don't look that good. Why am I about to go through all the different Premier League teams? Leighton Stewart is a free agent. He was a legend in the Towel or Town Park to Prem, was Leighton Stewart. In real life, has been playing for Preston, was released by Preston. Do I want to turn the clock back? Compared to Overton, not as quick, not as physical, but very, very well-rounded. He used to have mad potential in Football Manager. I assume it's been downgraded a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, he did have a major injury issue at Liverpool. It looks like in this save game, injuries just haven't really been a thing for him. His agent reckons he wants between £1,900 and £2,000, and he might not want to be a starter. Oh, let's do this. Fringe player. I'm shocked he wants that lower player status. Wants a shorter term deal. How about 2-year deal, year extension after promotion, Leighton? We'll go £1,600. I love it. Even as a backup striker, I love it. Is it purely nostalgia talking? Maybe slightly. Compared to Andy White, he's not as good. But as an attacking option on a freebie who wants to be a backup, that's a good deal. Of course, now I've made an offer, there's now this list of teams who also want him. Lots of teams in our division listed here. That means he could be quite good. I mean, it worked, didn't it, when I did Liverpool? I suppose I'll do Man City next. This is my day. Ezra Carrington. Sounds like a football-y name. He's got football-y ability of sorts. Not what we need. Manchester United youngsters, not as good. Really, I realised I should create a big filter here with all the different homegrown status for just different clubs with or as the filter, so I can just look at all the different teams at once, instead of doing what I'm doing here, where I'm going through each Premier League team off memory. Dante Casanova here has an amazing name, but he's very injury prone, and he's not as good as the other players I'm looking at. You know what would be good? If the homegrown at, you could just put, like, in nation. and Premier League specifically. That would be useful. Arsenal have a lot of players here. It looks like I've actually scouted a lot of them. So my previous scouting method that I showed yesterday clearly works a little bit. So after all of that, I've made offers for Leighton Stewart and Alex Matos. If we get both those in, I'm pretty happy. Part of me still just wants to look through all these other players kind of manually. What I could do is I could scout them all. Maybe that's a play. Although, I think a lot of these I've already scouted. Chesterfield want to take Leighton Stewart on trial. Don't do it. Crawley have made offers to Alex Matos. Oldham and Bromley have made offers as well. Oldham, you are just a pain in the arse. They were promoted with us last year, and they've signed him for £1,400. Oh my... I have to give Alex Matos a big contract now, don't I? Motherwell have made an offer. Crawley have made an offer. Yeovil have made an offer just to get in on the action. Right, Alex, I'm willing to give you the big bucks here, son. You'll give me one of my big headline signings. I'm giving you big Brucey bonuses. Would you take a 4-year deal as well? You know, let's make this a long-term project. Part of me wants to throw more money at him. I could set the signing on fee to £195,000. It's a quarter of my transfer budget, but if I'm being completely honest, I don't think I can find a player as good as this guy for £200,000 actually bidding it. So with that in mind, it just kind of makes sense to make that offer. Okay, this is my final offer locked in. Finalised deal. Alex, please sign for us. If he goes to Motherwell, I'm going to be very sad. Have had an offer here for Noah Watson. He was a useful squad player last year. I have temporarily demoted him down to the under-21s. Just don't think he's of good enough quality for us. To be honest, I feel like I'm best off just taking this money from Grimsby. I'll ask for 50% of any profit. He's travelling to them for literally next to nothing. So in reality, we should get some good money there if he was to move on. I've had an offer made for Joe McGlynn here of £45,000. The transfer value that when I offered him out unspecified actually went up to £200,000. So I'm probably selling Joe for less than I should be, but he's on £1,200 a week. He's not good enough for our team. So I think I'm just going to take the money. As for George Dowling, no one wants him, which is unfortunate, really. So much of the last 20 minutes of my transfer planning, in fact, it's nearer half an hour, I realise. For you, it's less time. Be grateful for editing, Jack. It's all hinged on this man. If he goes to Motherwell, I'm fuming. Well, we have got a player joining us. He's not the player I wanted to see right away. Ben Jackson, coming in to be a backup centre-back. On less than £2,000 a week, I like the look of this guy as kind of a fourth-choice centre-back option. Compared to someone like Deborah, he is just a way more one-dimensional defender, but generally with your kind of backup centre-back, especially if you're having one on the bench, it's the kind of player who you're bringing on just to shore things up. I feel like Ben should be able to do that. The fact that we've only beat Hemel Hempstead 2-0 there in a pre-season friendly, or in the Vanarama National South, does worry me a little bit. And Jaria no longer wants to leave the club to go to Southampton. What a bloke. I love him. Rangers have made an offer for Ajaria. Go away! I realise with less than 3 weeks till the start of the season, I probably should be focusing on finding more players, but I just want to know if Alex Matos is going to join me or not. Rotherham have made an offer for one of my backup players in Travis Johnson. I'm shocked that there's been an offer made for him. I love him because he can play centre-back and right wing-back. I don't really have any depth beyond him in that area of the pitch unless I'm going to play Callum at right-back. But they've offered a kind of stupid amount of money, almost £200,000 guaranteed, plus a profit of next sale. I feel like at the end of this year, I'd be looking to replace him anyway. So if I can move him on for that money, maybe I just have to go out and find now a backup who's of a similar mould. By which, I mean, we're looking for a player who's competent at right wing-back and centre-back. And that should be an and, not an or. We had Morgan Williams on loan, like, last year, didn't we, for half a year? And he was quite good. He was very good last year in the National League for Yeovil. There's part of me that feels like he'd be quite a good free transfer to bring in. He can play right-back. He can play defensive mid. I feel like there's a bit of nostalgia talking. You know what? I'll offer him a trial, but I need to keep looking for other players. To be fair, when you're looking for players that can play right wing-back or centre-back, there's limited options. I did wonder if maybe there'd be some transfer-listed players here. I mean, Sam Barnes is transfer listed by request at Barrow. I feel like he wanted to leave Barrow last year. Not really a wing-back. Keenan Ferguson, not really a wing-back. Ryan Quam, also not really a right-back. Okay, remove the age limit, and a couple of other free agents are out there. Harry Brockbank, not sure is what I need. Egbo. I'll tell you what, Mandela Egbo is actually the kind of player I need. 28 years old, loves important matches, consistent. Is he an upgrade? Compared to Travis Johnson, he would technically be an upgrade. He's remarkably similar, actually, as a player. Wants to be a fringe player. We love that. Also wants £2,000 a week. I don't like that as much, Mandela. His appearance fee is not cheap either. This man wants a lot of money. I've made an offer there that I didn't expect him to accept. To be honest, I like him. I am going to look at what other players there are. I kind of want to sign Robbie Tinkler for the name, but he is just not as good, is he? I feel like Egbo knows he's a bit of a unicorn of a player, and so he can ask for a decent price. To be fair, he can play right wing back and left wing back. He'd be on the bench a lot for us. I feel like £2,000, maybe I just have to bite the bullet and do it. We've got a load of wage budget. I should just do it. Right now, I've only got 2 left wing back options and 2 right wing back options if Johnson leaves us. So Egbo would actually be a really good player to have there. Morgan Williams has accepted a trial offer, bless him. Probably not going to sign him now. I might have found an absolute baller here. Ashley Fletcher. This guy had a banging few seasons at Middlesbrough. Yeah, you can see here, 11 goals. I'll say banging few years. Okay, let's be honest, it's not that good, but he was once upon a time signed for 6.5 million. In this universe, he did only get 5 goals last year in League One, but I actually really like him as an attacking option. 30 years old, bit of experience in the team. I'll be honest, not the best mentals, but consistent, loves important matches. Wage demands aren't that unreasonable. Also, happy to be a squad player. He could be the Leighton Stewart that I wanted and didn't get. He does want a 3-year deal and he's 30 years old. But let's get rid of the promotional wage rise. Let's shorten up the contract, but I'll give him that extra year upon promotion. Ashley, how does that sound? He's now locked in 3 years. I feel like as a backup striking option, this man could be quite good. I mean, currently Musa might be on the bench for us. He's just way better than Musa. Sorry, mate. Suppose the real question is, how much better is he than Overton? Is he better than Overton? He's not as quick, he's not as physical, but much better in the air, better technicals, better mentals. I feel like he could be a really handy striker. Sadly, apparently so did Bradford, Gillingham and Sutton. So watch that blow up in my face. Okay, my scouts absolutely love Alex Matos. We love Alex Matos too. Alex, do the right thing. I don't want to alarm everyone. It's all gone wrong. Matos is seeking new talks with Motherwell. Apparently he's gone back to them for further negotiations. Apparently he has better offers from elsewhere. That better be our bloody offer. Speaking of which, offer accepted and dealt with. Watson's leaving the club. That was a very awkward transition. I'm just sat thinking about Matos here. We're about to find out in a moment if he's going to Motherwell. I'm ready for pain he's signing for us. Get him in! I've hit accept on that far too quickly. I didn't even check the scout report after we scouted him. I just saw the ability and stuff. Alex Matos, welcome to Wanderers. Meanwhile, Joe McGlynn, get the out of here. Get gone, son. Shoo. I love this guy. Alex Matos is a proper sick defensive mid setup now. Let me slot him in. It's like putting in the Infinity Stone, I feel like, into the defensive mid position, except Gyabi, I think, will have to be the regista for us. Not the most creative player, but I think he can do this. Matos then plays at defensive midfielder. Oh, and then Callum plays up here. I'll tell you what, I think we've solved it, folks. I think we've cracked this. No one has ever been so happy to sign a defensive midfielder. Let me enjoy this moment. Don't love his 6 concentration, but you know what? I can look past it. And as for Darko here, congratulations, mate. You've been promoted to Mr. Regista. Welcome. I could train him at Regista on support. I am actually going to train him, I think, as a roaming playmaker just to make him a better rounded player. And I think for focus, no more defensive positioning, son. No. It's time to learn to pass. I absolutely love this midfield now. I feel like we might have the best midfield in the league. I have to check. Are either of them in the Media Dream 11? I need to know. No. Lewis Bate is in. Is Lewis Bate good? Okay, he is a bit of a baller, to be fair. In fact, Stockport have half the players in this. Stockport's team's good, isn't it? I'm looking at things here. I can see why Stockport are favourites for promotion. They've actually got some crazy good players here, including a better pie than us, who can also play left-back. I feel sick. Only silver lining is a lot of their first-team players seem unhappy at Stockport. At least they're good ones that I was looking at in that list. They all want out. They've also got Oliver Norwood on £13,000 a week. That is wild. That's mental. I'll tell you what, if we get Ashley Fletcher for the bench to replace Musa, we are cooking with this team now. I love it. Oh, and by the way, if you're worried about the Andy White injury, Andy's fine. He's got, what was it? I think it was a tight calf. Tight calf? He can deal with that. We played Aberdeen. Didn't beat them, mind you. But you know what? 1-1 against Aberdeen is a great result, albeit, as you can see, both teams rotated things quite a lot. Definitely a pre-season kind of game. There's a couple of players like Fagan Walcott, who I was looking at before, who I still like the idea of signing. I'll be honest, now I've scouted him, these negatives do scare me a little bit. There was another player I was looking at alongside him. I think, was it Zach Orr? Or it was something like that. They were next to each other in this list. Yeah, Zach Orr here, next to Fagan Walcott. He is an absolute baller of a centre-back. £1,400 to £1,800. I feel like he's lowered his demands. Wants to be a squad player now. Oh, my word. Make it happen. I'm going to try and save some money here. Well, a lot of these players, I'm offering them an okay contract length, but contract extension after promotion and locking it in, which actually I don't think I need to lock it in because players kind of like this clause. I think one of the reasons why players don't want to commit to me long-term is that fear that if we were to get relegated just because we're a newly promoted team, obviously they'd be playing at a lower level, but let's see what he says to this. He still wants the promotional wage rise. I'll be honest, he might end up being a starting centre-back for a sack, and he can also play defensive mid, so he's depth there too. I've talked about this back three. I love Kingdom. I love Deborah. I feel like these two guys are great. Louis Jackson is kind of the weak link, not even by a large amount, it has to be said, but if we just look at Zach Orr compared to little old Louis here, definitely an improvement. I'll tell you what, for £2,200, that'd be such a good deal to get done. I am going to scout him. I never really sign players without scouting them unless I'm being particularly reckless. Prioritise this assignment. We'll see how good he really is in a week. I think we looked at Dexter Lembisica last episode, and I said I like the look of him, but he had unreasonable wage demands. Are those demands more reasonable now? No, apparently we don't have the financial muscle. I feel like he's the kind of player I should keep an eye on. He's very, very good, and at 22, he could still improve. We looked at Bowler last episode, didn't we? And he wanted a lot of money. He still wants a lot of money. Maybe in another universe, Bowler, but not in this one. You could enjoy your trip to Fleetwood. I'm wondering, did Joe Aribo ever find a club? He did. He's gone to Stockport. Well, that's bloody annoying, because he's good. He didn't want to talk to me last episode, did he? He had no interest now. He's gone to the team who predicts to finish top of our division. It's just not fair. Oh, he's good. Joe Taylor. I feel like I should have heard of this bloke. 23 years old. Good mentals. Very good physicals. Loves to argue with officials. We love that. Probably a negative, but I look at it as a positive. It is passion. The man has the absolute technicals of a wombat, but he can attack. He's quick, got physicals, and has a little bit of mentalness about him in terms of mentals are good. I will say, you look at aggression and bravery and think he must be a meaty striker. He's got 5 jumping reach, but he's a little terrier of a man. Played 10 games in the Championship last year and didn't play a lot. What are his wage demands like? 2.7 to £3,600. Might want a release clause as well. Kind of want to get rid of the release clauses. Can he make himself cheaper? Maybe a little bit. I mean, how much better is he than Ashley? The answer, I mean, they're different kinds of strikers, but Joe is probably better overall. And alongside the main man in Andy White, who of course is a big meaty striker of his own, having someone who's a bit of a terrier, probably a better option. Right, Joe only wants to be a squad player. If I can negotiate out the release clause, in fact, he's not even asked for the release clause here, we could be laughing. I'm going to try and lower his wages. £2,000, 2-year deal. Let's shake on it. Wants 3,000. 2,200, Joe wants 3,000. 2,000, I'll give you more money here. 2,000, but 60,000 in a signing on fee. Really wants £3,000. I mean, he's a good striker. I feel like if I don't offer him £3,000, he's going to turn it down. But to be honest, at £3,000, I need the scout report to come in and tell me he's consistent. He loves important matches. He'll never get injured for me to consider signing him. You know what? I don't want to lose this deal, so I'm just going to have to make this offer as it's been put. I'm going to lower the signing on fee to what he had it on before, just to save us that money there. We'll see what the scouts say. £3,000 would make him our 3rd highest earner. He probably is an upgrade on Overton if you just ignore the pace aspect. Joe is good. The issue is, right, I see a player like Joe pop up that I've not noticed before, and it makes me think, right, I've got to look back through the list. There must be more new people here. Louis Marsh. Louis. Louis good. Very good. He's not, is he? He's not as good as Joe, though, is he? Or is he? A different kind of player. Kilmarnock have offered a contract to Joe Taylor, or rather a trial to him. That makes me think he must be good. I don't know why. The Scottish Premier League, probably a higher standard than us. Offers made for Orr, Charlton and Accrington Stanley. Can't believe I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. I think Zach is that good. £3,000 Zach, £40,000 signing on fee. Would make him one of our highest earners. He is a really good centre-back. All I'm saying is compare him against Kingdon, and you can see the difference. Make a good technical centre-back. Pretty nice of how he likes to play out from the back. Also, he's almost 200 centimetres tall. The man is a mountain. Joe Taylor set to sign for us. Right, we delay this tactically for a week to wait for the scout report to come in, which should be happening. Why is there no scout report happening? I mean, £3,000 a week's not cheap. I feel like he could be quite good. Oh yeah, I have to actually register a squad this season, don't I? Forgot about that. Well, good news. We've got enough under 21 players that currently, unless I choose to register some of these players that I don't need to register, I won't hit the minimum squad size. So, yeah, we should be fine. To be honest, like the Football League in England, pretty generous when it comes to kind of squad registration rules. Mandela Egbo. I'm giving this man £2,000 to be our backup centre-back. He will be the replacement for Travis Johnson. That deal hasn't gone through yet. So before I sign him to replace a player who's not officially left, I will delay it. Fully aware, by the way, that £2,000 a week for this guy is an overpay. I think, to be honest, that's kind of going to end up being the baseline for what we have to pay backup players. If not this year, in the coming years. There's a handful of players who are on the backup side of things, with contracts expiring in the coming year. Some of them are going to want risers. And Jari is showing pleasing progress. I mean, it's pre-season and the man's still getting better. I love it. Also, I've been asked to submit squad numbers. Deal with it. I just auto number. Does that make me the spawn of Satan? Do you do squad numbers properly? Let me know. If you don't do squad numbers, leave a like as well. Otherwise, you get bad luck. Your star striker will get injured unless you like this video. You know what? I've done over 2,000 videos on this channel. Don't think I've ever used that as a strategy. Sky Bet League 2 top goal scorer odds. Andy White, number 1. Love to see it. Louis Barry. He used to be an absolute baller. He went to West Brom, to Villa at some point. Was at Barcelona's academy as well. He's joined them on a free transfer. They're paying him £6,000 a week. I can't compete with that, can I, wage-wise? I was sat thinking, have I missed a bargain there? Never would have been possible to pick him up. I've just noticed that the 4th and 5th player in these lists here for top goal scorer odds, players I was looking to sign. I mean, if nothing else, that reaffirms to me that I was looking at the right kind of player to sign when I was trying to sign players in, well, last episode. And this one in the case of Leighton Stewart, of course. Oh, for God's... Alex Matos, welcome to the club. Welcome to the physio room. Out for 4 to 5 weeks. Please tell me he's not injury prone, is he? He's not. That's literally his 4th injury in 2 years. And the previous ones were the flu and a tight fly. Thigh. Words are hard. It means that Callum Jones might start in the team, or maybe we'll just move Callum back. If Matos is injured to start the year, which he's going to be, I guess we do that, and Voltman plays at centre attack in mid. Finally, an offer for George Dowling. He wants to talk to Coleraine. He can go and move to Coleraine. Enjoy Northern Ireland? I hope that's right. It is right. Okay. Nearly just got cancelled. We're good. Okay, Travis Johnson set to sign for Rotherham. £145,000 we received for that deal. And we've already got his replacement signed up. Mandela Egbo. Welcome to the club. Not the best player in terms of ability, but his versatility, left wing back, right wing back, centre back, there is something to love about that. I mean, in a vacuum, when you look at Travis Johnson leaving for over £100,000 and the guy we've replaced in blue coming in for free, just looks like sensible business. Season starts, by the way, in 10 days' time. Think we're feeling more prepared now. Now, Ashley Fletcher wants to join us, and I could sign him, but do I need Ashley Fletcher and Joe Taylor? I'm not sure I need both these players. And if I was going to sign one, I think I'd go with Joe Taylor. 7 years younger, better mentally, better from an attacking point of view. Very similar in terms of pace. I guess Ashley Fletcher has that physical element to him. I mean, part of me is sat thinking, why not both? I mean, currently when it comes to strikers, obviously, Andy leads the way as the main man. Whittaker and Overton are then kind of second and third. Then you have Musa. And then apparently Voltman and Matos. To be honest, I feel like Musa is further down the pecking order than that. I like him. I don't think he's League 2 quality. I'm kind of tempted to offer out Musa and see if I get any interest. I feel like if I could either sell Musa or loan him out, maybe then I confirm the signing of Ashley Fletcher. For now, I'm going to delay it. Also, we have got our scout report back on Joe Taylor here. He absolutely detests important matches. Besides that, he's a normal bloke, balanced and normal personality. When has being normal ever been a positive? Let me know. The fact that he hates important matches, not so good, but I feel like he's a different striker to the other options that we've got. He's kind of more of a poacher. If Andy White is the battering ram and Overton is the speed demon, I feel like Joe Taylor's just the man in the middle. You know what? I'm asking for confirmation on this. I think he can be a baller. Have just noticed Zach Orr Scout Report has also come in. He also dreads big matches. I'll tell you what, it'd be very worth the space on brand, wouldn't it? Sign all these players, big us up all year, bottle the playoff final, because I signed a load of players who hate important matches. That's probably what will happen now. Joe Taylor signs £3,000 a week. I'll tell you what, he needs to hit the ground running and be good. Then again, you know what? When I look at things highlighted for an advanced forward, 14 anticipation, 14 composure, 14 off the ball, 17 work rate, 15 stamina. He's the pressing forward, isn't he? I've just realised this bloke just needs to be our pressing forward. He's actually mad at that role. Andy White as an advanced forward probably makes more sense than playing him as a pressing forward. And Taylor, he's just going to chase people around like an annoying nippy Jack Russell Terrier. Bournemouth would have made an offer to loan Musa for the year. They want to make him an important first-team player as well. That's a pretty good loan move, I think, for him. Bournemouth are in the National League, predicted to finish 6th. Obviously, he proved himself at that level last year. I just feel like compared to the options we're looking to sign, he's not of that standard. If I'm looking for back-to-back promotions, he's not it. And if he does leave, I feel like Ashley Fletcher can then come in to fill that vacant spot. I'm kind of nodding my head here. This just seems like a good plan. And a good day gets better. Zach Orr has turned down a move to Charlton of League One to decide to buy into the Wanderers project, probably because I've just given him a big bag of money. Signing him as a squad player, nah. He will be starting for us. Had a little bit of a worry that we might not have enough depth at defensive midfielder. The fact that he could slot in there as well, big tick. That's what we needed. If I was going to have one minor annoyance, maybe I look at the wages I'm paying some of these players that I've brought in, and it's a little on the high side. But truthfully, given the fact we made £1 million sale last episode, and we're still comfortably under the wage budget by over £10,000, I think there's now enough headroom in that wage budget for me to be able to offer some new contracts to players with contracts expiring, and really try maybe and get the core of this team now locked into contracts for the next kind of 2 or 3 years. Just notice that players like Andy White, I can actually offer new contracts to. Now, currently Andy is on £85 a week. If he was on 85,000, would be a bit panicked. I'm tempted to renew these contracts at the end of the year for some of our younger players. He only wants £600. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offer him more money up front, because let's be honest, he's going to be worth it. I'm then going to lock in a contract extension after promotion of 3 years on top of that. He'll sign this new deal at the end of the year. It'll be a 3-year deal. I'd like to think that if we don't get promoted this year, we get promoted in the subsequent 3 years. Just means that he's locked here for the long haul. So that deal comes into effect next year. Even if we made it to League One next year, I'd back us within maybe 2-3 years to get that promotion to trigger that extra year on his contract. And you know what? I'm going to try and do it with other players like AA as well. End of year, new contract, regular starter. No idea why his wage demands are so low. I feel like for him, I'm going to offer him £400 and then I'm going to just not do it as a promotional wage rise and instead an optional contract extension by club. That way I can just trigger it when he's only got 2 years left in his deal. He loves that. So that's 2 of our big boys locked in. This is the final boss, Ajaria. Obviously, he's been the one attracting all the interest lately. He wants his deal to start immediately. I'm going to say end of season. Well, not end of season. Now you want promises too. Brilliant. The aims for this league season are the playoffs. How does that sound? Okay, I'm going to have to make it immediate, I think, aren't I? Right, yeah, immediate contract offer. The issue I've got here is current contract is already going until 2020. Actually, it goes only until 2027. All the other players' contracts went to 2028. Maybe we should just get this deal signed. He didn't actually tell me the wages he wanted, so I'm going to give him a ballpark figure similar to Andy White's and hope that that's a good deal. I'm going to include a contract extension after promotion of 3 years, of course, because this is a deal that would kick in this year. Just means we need to get out of League 2 in the next couple of years. How does that sound, Tammy? He loves it. Maybe I could have got these guys' contracts done cheaper. I'd rather get our best young talent locked down for the long-term future now, rather than saving a few pennies and regretting not renewing them sooner. Ah, interesting. Moose has now had an offer from Morecambe. Now, he's valued at £170,000 to £325,000. He's got 2 years left on his current deal. They've offered £83,000. Morecambe, you've probably not got that much money. How about £150,000? They've locked in £110,000. That might be controversial, what I've just done there. I've just accepted it. I know I said I was going to loan him out to Boreham Wood, but I feel like that valuation is a little on the inflated side. I don't think he's going to be worth that much. So I'd rather just take some money. Like, the 19-year-old is good. He's never going to be good enough for my first team. Morecambe are in League 2, so I think it's safe to assume he will accept that offer from them. So with that in mind, I know this could be a mistake, I'm going to ask Ashley Fletcher if he wants to sign for us now. An experienced player coming in on £2,000 a week to be a good backup striker. I just like it. I think it's another ticket off the bingo card. It's just another good deal. I say ticket off the bingo card like every single box just has the cliche in the bingo of it's another good deal. Look, they've all been good deals today. I'm looking at our team now ahead of this next game, which is against Stockport in a week. I feel like I do need one more backup defensive midfielder. Obviously, we've got Matos, Giabi, Hume, or they can all play defensive mid. But in terms of defensive mids who won't be in the starting 11, Callum Jones currently is the only option. Our current first team as well is 22 players strong. I feel like 23 would be a nice number to hit. And I feel like this is the obvious position to sign a player to play. Balagizzi here can play every position in the midfield that we'd need him to play. Issue, not a defensive bone in his body and injury prone. I'm tempted to sign him for the sake of it, but he's really not what I need. Ben Thompson here, 30 years old, actually looks like a pretty good option. Good work rate, good stamina, bit of an engine in the midfield, I think it's safe to say. What kind of wage demands might he have? £2,000 to £4,000. I mean, he's very good, but it's just a bit too much. Oliver Casey I looked at before, didn't I? And his wage demands were mental. They're still mental. £50,000. Where does he think I'm getting that from? There's actually some okay options here. It's just about picking the best of the okay options. I like the look of George Broadbent. Got an offer currently from Wickham. We're in League 1. I feel like that might be a testament to how well-rounded this guy is. He's not like an exciting, flashy player, but I am looking for a depth centre defensive mid option, and he kind of ticks that box. His wage demands aren't too unreasonable here. I'll offer him a 1-year deal because that's what he wants, with a contract extension of 1 year after promotion. I mean, he wants £1,500. I'm just going to give him what he wants. You know what? If he accepts our offer, great. If he doesn't, I'll be annoyed that he's gone to Wickham. Another option would be Ethan Robson here. He's actually just a very similar mould of player. Not particularly exciting, but can just do a job. I feel like I should just make bids for all these guys, just in case one of them I don't get. And then whichever decides to go for me, I'll just settle for him. Okay, Ethan does want a little bit more money. I'll offer him £2,000. Hopefully he accepts that. Ethan, £2,000. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I only need one of these guys. I feel like the least sexy position in any football team is probably the third choice defensive midfielder. And that is what we're looking for at the end of the day. Despite that, I can't resist the urge just to look at players with contract status expired and just see if there's any of the players I've looked at before that have maybe lowered their demands. Dexter does actually now want to talk to me. Dexter, how much? 19,000. Yeah, you ain't getting a new job for a while, son, if that's your demands. I've waited ages for this guy to become available. He kept saying I didn't have the financial resources. Now I understand why. Kieran Clark is now showing us a signing option. No. Dowling is set to leave the club, £52,000. We receive £32,000 of that. A couple of sell-on bits going on as well. Could have kept him around maybe as a backup defensive mid, but he's just not of the level, especially if you just compare him to some of the players we've been looking at just recently. Happy to get a bit of money for him. We will keep Hume as our captain for this year, but we do have the big choice of bringing in a new vice-captain, Andy bloody White. I mean, I'd make it sound like there was ever a debate. This man, he is going to be Mr. Wanderers. Speaking of which, he's just signed that new 3-year deal. That'll kick in at the end of the current season. It's going to be a 3-year extension, 3 further years if we get promoted too. Sadly, elsewhere, George Broadbent's agreed to go to Wickham on less money than I offered him, might I add. Bit annoying. Now I just have to hope that Ethan Robson decides to sign for us. Good news, no one's made a bid for him yet. 2 days till the start of the season. I'd love to get this deal done now, just like I love this deal that we've got done now. Aaron Allen, contract extension, 3 years, locked in for the long haul. By the way, I am just still scouting players, just in case any are good. A few of these players that I've scouted since starting to scout them have now found clubs, annoyingly. Stockport tomorrow. They are predicted to win the league. They're a bloody good team. I don't feel like I need Ethan Robson for that game. It'd just be quite nice. Forgot this hadn't gone through yet. Musa, leaving the club to join Morecambe. £110,000. We signed him on a free transfer last year. Scored a few goals. Make some nice money. And with that, it's now the 2nd of August. Bids are being made for Andy White. Let's reject that. He's just signed a new contract. He doesn't have to go anywhere. I now feel ready for Stockport. Although before all of that, EFL Trophy Southern Section draw. Woo! Not sure what that woo was. Draw all teams. I hate this competition. I have to play against youth teams. Bournemouth's under 21s. That'll be fun, won't it? And with that, it's time to take on Stockport. And apparently, Ethan didn't get the memo. So maybe we'll have him for the second game of next episode. Overall, though, I have to say, very happy with the wheeling and dealing that we've done today. Couple of big sales. Managed to sell a lot of the squad players as well that were kind of needing to be phased out the team anyway. I feel like sometimes that's the hardest thing to do in Football Manager is kind of sell the players you need to get rid of. We've managed to do that in their place. I feel like we've gone like for like and at the same time made some pretty big upgrades. Taylor, Matos, Gyabi, Sharman Lowe in goal as well. Yeah, I like this team a lot. And to be fair, it's not just the 4 new starters either. Some new options on the bench. I think Voltman's going to be a really useful, versatile player to have. Elsewhere, of course, Egbo is that kind of new, versatile defensive mid option you can just play everywhere. And even players like Ashley Fletcher and Ben Jackson, not necessarily going to be on the bench every game, but definitely players will end up giving minutes to. The updated season preview still has us in 3rd. I wonder if that'll swing off the back of tomorrow's first match against top of the table Stockport. On the whole, the fans have absolutely loved our transfers, mostly. Ignore this, just go transfers in. Transfers in, they've loved our transfers in. Let me know what you think of my transfers down below in the comments. Next time out, we're going to be kicking things off with one of the hardest games of the season against a Stockport team that, let's be frank, have lots of very good players that are significantly better than the players in my team. Yeah, look at the scout reports there. Maybe they've not got depth. They've definitely got quality. Hopefully you guys are excited for that one. Hopefully I'll see you on next episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this one too. I'll see you tomorrow for more. I'm out.